If you're someone who always offers help, you probably don't even think about it. You just do it. You notice someone struggling and you step in. You sense tension and you try to smooth it out. It feels natural, almost automatic. And most of the time, people appreciate it. They tell you you're kind, reliable, thoughtful. But here's the part people don't usually talk about. For many helpers, helping isn't just generosity, it's how they stay steady. A lot of people who always offer help learned at some point that being useful made things feel safer. Maybe growing up, things felt unpredictable. Maybe emotions weren't always handled calmly. Maybe needs weren't clearly spoken. So you learned to watch closely. You learned to notice what people needed before they asked. You learned to step in before things got messy. You learned that being helpful kept things from falling apart, and over time that became part of how you move through the world. You don't wait to be needed, you preempt it, not because you want control, but because doing something feels better than sitting with uncertainty. Helping gives you something solid to hold on to. There's also something else that happens. When you're focused on helping, you don't have to focus as much on yourself. Your attention stays outward, on other people's needs, on fixing, supporting, organizing. That can be comforting because slowing down, doing nothing can feel strangely uncomfortable. You might notice that when you're not helping, you feel a little restless or guilty or like you should be doing something. Helping becomes your role, and roles feel safe. The tricky part is what happens over time. When you're always the helper, people get used to it. They assume you're fine. They don't check in as much. And you might tell yourself that's okay, that you don't need much, that you genuinely like helping. But quietly, something builds fatigue, a sense of being overlooked, moments of resentment that surprise you. You might think, why am I always the one stepping in? And then immediately feel bad for thinking that. That inner conflict is really common for helpers. Because on one hand, you care deeply. On the other, you're tired of always being the strong one. Another thing many helpers struggle with is receiving help. When someone offers you support, it can feel awkward. You don't quite know what to do with it. You might downplay your needs or say you're fine. Not because you don't appreciate the gesture, but because being on the receiving end feels unfamiliar. You learned how to give, not how to rest. None of this means helping is bad. It means helping became a habit before it became a choice. And when any behavior stops being a choice, it starts costing more than it gives. The shift isn't about becoming less kind or less available. It's about pausing, just briefly, before stepping in. Asking yourself, am I helping because I want to, or because it feels uncomfortable not to? That pause is important because it gives you back agency. You're allowed to help, and you're allowed to step back, you're allowed to care, and you're allowed to be cared for. Helping doesn't have to disappear for balance to return. It just has to stop being the only way you know how to feel okay.